Mars Logbook, Day 34, Episode. Title: The Enigma of Martian Shadows. Something was off with the light on Mars tonight. It started subtly, as all uncanny things do. I was near Outpost Theta, doing a routine inspection on the solar panel array just past dusk. The sky burned with a dark crimson hue, and both of Mars's moons, Phobos and Deimos, were aligning overhead. That's when I noticed it. My shadow wasn't behaving. It stretched unnaturally across the red sand, contorting around rocks in impossible, almost liquid-like movements. I assumed it was a trick of the eye, maybe an atmospheric distortion, a refraction caused by dust in the air, but then it moved. When I didn't. I froze. The wind grazed my helmet, my breath caught. The shadow took a step forward. I blinked, and it snapped back in place, mirroring me perfectly once again. Had I imagined it? Hallucinations from stress? Fatigue? I've been out here long enough to know the mind plays tricks, but this felt deliberate, focused. It followed my movement, until it didn't. It hesitated. My shadow hesitated. That's when I felt the cold, not from the suit, which regulates temperature, but from something inside me, a primal chill. I walked back to the habitat, convincing myself it was exhaustion, but as I sealed the hatch and peered through the porthole, it was still there, unmoving, waiting. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, it returned, twisting unnaturally, detached, alive. I needed answers. I transformed the Northern Observation Dome into a lab, marking the floor with calibration points and arranging artificial lights at precise angles. And then I stood in the center. No matter the light's position, LED, halogen, UV spectrum, the shadow never changed. Always the same tilt, always the same distance behind me, always a few centimeters off. I replaced every bulb, even the emergency heat lamp, no difference. The shadow remained, as if it were no longer bound by the laws of physics. I recorded everything: thermal imaging, infrared, ultraviolet. On camera, there was nothing, no shadow. But to my eyes, still there, still watching. Sometimes it followed when I left the room. Sometimes it didn't. Once, I glimpsed it standing in the corner of the lab, away from any light source at all. That's when I realized maybe it wasn't a shadow. Maybe it was something pretending to be one. A projection, a footprint of thought, or something far worse, a presence. But how could I be sure? The data said nothing. The sensors read clean. And yet, every instinct screamed otherwise. Still, I couldn't bring myself to report it. Not yet. I needed more. Needed to see it again. Up close. That decision would change everything. Tonight, under the dual light of Mars's moons, I faced it. I left the outpost, walking far from any structure, any artificial interference, just me and it. The desert stretched empty in all directions. The wind was still. My flashlight cut a thin path through the dust, but it wasn't needed. The shadow was already there, and it wasn't following me anymore. It stood still, separate, as if it had peeled itself off. When I circled it, my boots crunching softly in the silence, it remained motionless. But it wasn't mine anymore. It was taller, the limbs broader, the silhouette different, subtly wrong. Not a reflection, not an echo. I turned off my light. It remained. Oddly, I didn't feel fear. I felt recognition. Like meeting an old memory face to face. It wasn't looking at me with eyes, it didn't need to. Its presence cut deeper. It wasn't reading my movements, it was reading me. Not just the now, the whole, my thoughts, my time, my imprint. That's when it hit me. What if this wasn't a haunting or a malfunction? What if Mars remembers? Not with data logs or digital recordings, but with its very soil, its silence, its time-worn dust. What if every astronaut leaves a part of themselves behind? Fragments, thoughts, memories, trapped in a form we barely understand? What if the shadow was not a ghost, but a memory of me? Disconnected, displaced, watching. I left the plane slowly, not in retreat, but in reverence. I didn't turn my back on it. It didn't follow. Back inside, I logged everything. I have no intention of chasing it, nor denying it. I will observe, I will witness. That may be what it wants. Or maybe that's what I need to do. Perhaps others have seen it. Perhaps they didn't survive. Or perhaps they did, and stayed. For now, I know one thing. I am not alone. But the question that lingers, louder than ever, is this. If Mars remembers me, what else does it remember? And more importantly, what else might still be wandering these shadows?